Hey there viewers, and welcome back to the South Main Auto Channel. It's in the 90s out and it's October and that's brutal, but I do know the inevitable will come, and it comes every year, and that is wintertime. Wintertime brings salt, and salt mixed with water and sprayed all over your car makes them rusty, which you guys know we see a lot of. Unfortunately, it gets on my truck too. I wish it didn't, but it does. So I am not exempt from the salt and the corrosion, but in an effort to help stop that process on my vehicle, you guys know that I've had it crowned, and I've brought in my truck today to get ready for winter, which includes putting on my sweet new tires. So I'm going to get that done, a few other winter checkups, but I thought this would be a good time to stop and kind of have our first video of hopefully many on the aftermath of the crown process. I told you guys back when we did that we would have some follow-up videos, so this has been, I should have looked, like 3-4 months since I've had it applied. Going to cover a couple of the concerns or questions there that were in that second video where we actually had the application done. A couple guys are wondering, you know, how's your truck holding up now? Has it destroyed all the door seals? Where they drilled the holes, are they all rotted out? Of course, this truck has been exposed to salt and dust because I live on a dirt road and I travel dirt roads daily. So this has had constant, salt, dirt, salt, air exposure since I've had the process done. So we'll take a quick peek underneath it. I'll show you some of the things I do to help, promote rust, to help prevent rust when I bring the truck in or I'm doing any kind of service work on it, whether I'm changing tires or doing an oil change or something like that. And then we'll look at a couple things under the hood. Guys were concerned about what it's doing to the weather pack seal connectors. I mentioned door seals, rubber stuff under the vehicle that's still there. Can you still see the product? So I'll try to address as many concerns that I can. And then I gotta get busy. Gotta get my tires on. And I know this video may be a little bit of an early assessment of the product and, giving my feelings on it. Of course, we're gonna do some after winter, and then when I go get, second application, or whatever. I just wanna keep you guys informed on it. So one of the not the first concern, but one of the big concerns was when they sprayed under the hood, of course, hitting the brake lines, doing the battery terminals. Of course, they got on some electrical connections because that's unavoidable when you're under the hood of a modern vehicle. There's miles of wire, so it's going to get on it. So we're going to look after this 3 or 4 month soak. What has it done? What's it destroyed? A couple guys mentioned, they didn't like the fact that it's going to collect dust, which you can't avoid that. Of course, I could imagine pressure wash this off, but personally, it doesn't bug me. I mentioned that in our one video where we did the engine pressure washing, so that doesn't bug me a whole lot. So we'll take a close-up look, see what we see. So we can take a peek at the rubber seals under the hood. That one looks pretty straight still. Of course, the one running across the back of the cowl there, under the hood there. Still looking pretty good in my opinion. Man, we need to clean the lens on this camera. Focus, baby! But you guys get the gist there. They look pretty good. Even, the foam that sits here in front of the radiator now. They did spray, they try to concentrate on the fenders here. If I remember right, I have to go back through and look at the footage. Of course, cross the back, cross the brake lines, over on the ABS valve. So, these weather pack connectors here would have been exposed, sprayed. I don't see where it's doing anything, to soften the insulation or, swell up any of these rubbers on these weather pack connectors, which, you guys seen a lot of our videos. We get like these style weather pack connectors are just completely saturated in grease. So I don't see where this product is affected at all. Or anything like the, the poly looms or anything like that. So at a glance, I would say other than dust, it's about all I see currently at this checkup. Another thing that was a concern was, hope I can open that without hitting the lift, the holes that they drilled. Let's go get a light so we can take a peek at them. So here's one of the, I'll probably do more damage trying to get it out of the screwdriver. So there's one of the holes. Now you guys remember, was it Steven, when he put these in, he put a little dab of grease on them. And a couple guys were going bananas because they thought everything was going to rust out. Of course, it's hard to see down inside there, but try to get a little side profile. Everything does still look pretty good there. They still got grease on them. Of course, like I say, it's only been 3 or 4 months. We're definitely going to do an after winter follow-up. And then the other hole sits down here with so much glare on it. I don't want to damage it. There we go. So there's another hole that they drilled. Personally, I mean, I love the idea of drilling the holes to get the product. I mean, you guys see the trucks that come in where, the rocker panels don't exist. Cab corners are completely gone. This did drip for quite some time. You can still see some remnants here on the door. I mean, it was dripping all over my steps. It was dripping on the ground, and that went on for, I would say, at least a week. You can see where some of the product is still, the dirt and dust, and it got kind of gummy and collected here on the side of the door. And I guess we're right here. Set that plug down so I don't forget. Put that back in. We can see on the door, there was concerns of the door seal because my drains, there's one drain right there. So the door drains live up underneath here, which is another one right there. And we can see, we'll take a little side shot of that door seal. So that sucker's still sitting pretty straight. However, the little slots where they put by the drain, so this is where this foam rubber is like super, super thin. We can see it did put a little bit of a wrinkle in it. Overall though, the door seal I'm happy with, in my opinion. If this is the worst that I get, that's a whole lot better than changing brake lines or changing doors. But yeah, this crap leaked out for quite a while, at least a week. And I don't mean to call it crap, but you know what I'm saying. It leaked out. That's part of the process. They warn you about it. Of course, here, is where the one hole is drilled in the door. Take a peek at that. And that's still looking good. Of course, the dust and stuff is collected around it. Now, a lot of times when I'm at the car wash and I'm hosing my car down, I do open my doors and I spray them. I can't do that one-handed, so I'll set that down. So I'll spray the bottoms of my doors because all the dust and dirt and everything, it's where it all sits. So I'll spray it off. And you guys remember in the beginning when they did these, they did wipe these down with a silicone spray. And that's always my habit in the wintertime too. I do have a video on that where we wipe down the door foam, the rubbers here with silicone spray to prevent it from freezing shut. So that's, just a good habit to get into. But at this point, I don't see any real damage to, any of the door seals. They all look pretty much the same, front and rear, but I did notice just that little sag there, which, whatever. So we will take a little toot underneath. Now you guys do know that when I went in, the black, the undercoating that I'm not fond of was already on this truck when I bought it. Of course, I bought the truck used, but overall the truck was in, really good shape, rust-wise. But we can see, we'll come underneath here, and you guys remember Steven, he sprayed everything, every nook and cranny, and you can see where the product, clings, of course not with this crazy bright light, to the frame, and all the dust and dirt and everything collects to it. So we'll just take a little walk through, particularly the outside of the frame. I just whacked my head. So you can see that, which, I'm not offended by that. I actually think it's great. Here's the part I guess we can mention right here. So look at this. So this is on the bottom of the body mount. And this is why I hate this spray-on freaking black undercoat, because this is what happens. And I see this on vehicle after vehicle after vehicle that comes in when this stuff gets applied, this tar type, I don't even know the technical name for it, black spray-on undercoat. This is what happens because then the moisture gets underneath it, and whatever's underneath it will totally rot out, and then all the black crap falls off in one big sheet. I'm usually, if I'm buying a used vehicle, I will a lot of times walk away from it if I look underneath it and I see that they just applied this black, tar undercoat, because this is what happens. I mean, you guys see it on our videos. That's the main reason I hate that stuff. Anyhow, that's enough of my little rant. We'll take a look. See up inside there on the brake lines, running towards the back. Just a big collection of dust. You know, kind of stuck to the product, but so far so good. I'm happy with it. Of course we do, I don't know if you guys remember, but you know, this rust was already forming on my, you know, rear axle housing, which, you know, that's not a huge deal. Backing plates and everything. So this is what it looks like if you drive dirt roads every single day. So I'm adamant about doing something to be proactive here. I don't really know what to show you guys, but I'm just trying to show you everything. Man, I gotta be honest with you, there's a bag of garbage in the back of my truck and it stinks. So anyhow guys, this is just the first follow-up. Call it the pre-winter, initial aftermath, destruction. Just because there was a lot of negative comments on the one video. So I want to try to address some of those. If there is more questions, you know, about it, or other stuff that you guys want to see or think would be, you know, kind of a good ongoing experiment, put them in that comment box below. But one thing I did want to show you guys is that I mentioned in the beginning of the video, anytime I bring my truck in, have it up in the air, we need special music for this, but it's my habit to just go over stuff. I don't know, can you overdo it? Probably not. So I'll do areas like, particularly on these Toyotas, the park and brake lever under there, because besides being, you know, a rust preventer, it is, you know, a lubricant. So I just kind of go bananas with the stuff. If you're interested in some of your own Krown product, I do know on their website, which I'll link below, I think they have some free shipping right now on certain dollar amounts. So what I'll do is I'll just buy, you know, a case of the product, get free shipping, and then, you know, it seems to be the best deal going. And then that way there I can just kind of continually keep it touched up, you know, as I have it up in the air or as I see fit. Like I said, I'm trying to be really diligent with this truck, or deliberate, to keep it from rusting out on me. I call it the Krown cam. No, all joking aside, so, you know, like you say, you can see on the park and brake mechanism on this, so this has rubber going over it, so we can see how it's affecting that, which, you know, doesn't seem to be. So these park and brake mechanisms is like the oldest thing Toyota's ever had, and they've had these back to the 80s, and these are notorious for seizing up on these Toyotas, like on this pivot or on the pivot up here. You know, they're just really kind of old school with this. They've never gone away from this design, and it's really susceptible to rust. This is the downside to Krown, which I'll deal with this before I'm changing these. So a lot of times, like I say, I just get up under my truck, and that's it. That's probably overdoing it, and it drips on the floor. But, you know, I just kind of always tend to go crazy. And it doesn't necessarily have to be up in the air to do this. You know, you can do this while it's, you know, down on the ground, crawl around in a creeper, put on the protective suit, because this is going to make a mess. But, you know, I necessarily wouldn't spray at the top of the frame like that. But anything that I know, you know, just from looking at vehicles, what we see, you know, rust out, or things that, you know, potentially you could need repair in the future, just, you know, maybe we'll have to take that carrier bearing out sometime. So, you know, or anything that looks like it perhaps is getting dry, I guess, for lack of a better term. You know, we got some brake lines up there. I never want to have to change those. You know, so I'll just follow my brake lines down. I did this when I owned my Honda too. You know, particularly when I see spots where, you know, salt and crap is going to sit. Of course, I'll continue to do that. I'm going to do the whole thing on the video. You know, like this axle, you know, rear axle, constantly getting blasted from those front tires, you know, always slinging junk back. You know, hit up my shocks. I'll come back across my axle tube. You know, salt always tends to sit down inside the, you know, the saddle mounts on these rear spring brackets, you know. Like I say, it's going to be just a matter of time before we're getting blasted, and the salt's sitting up on here, 2 inches thick. If you work on cars long enough, you know where the salt sits, and common spots like that. So I don't really have a science behind it. One thing I do know, and this is any Toyota owner knows, particularly on the tacos, these rear springs have a big tendency to make noise, as the springs, pass each other, and they'll squeak and squawk, so it's nothing for me to, just come out, and this is going straight back at me, but, I'll hit up down the sides of the leaf springs, let it work in there, work as a lube, and then I don't have that annoying squawk as the back end's going up and down. I don't know how many of you guys have Toyotas that have dealt with that, or shop owners that have had to fix that problem. They put the plastic, pads on these rear leaves to, stop some of that noise, but it'll creep up on you, so. Yeah, anyhow, I'm not gonna bore you with the whole process of what I do, but that is just a little bit of it, each time I'm underneath my truck. And I just wanted to touch base with you guys, show you what it's looking like, and with the straw on it, you see this stuff really sprays out. You can go up inside, cross members, you can launch it up inside the frame if you want. But I'll be honest with you, they got that pretty good when I was there. And the only thing I ever worry about is, because you can see like the bottoms of my control arms are getting dry. I do drive through a lot of fields, high grass, so it's just, constantly, that wiping action. So, I'll see stuff like that and just, whatever. We'll just hit the bottoms of the control arms. I do know some guys on our first video were, concerned, like, oh, they got it on your brakes, they got it on your tire, on your CV shaft. Well, you guys see it firsthand. I'll admit, I've had no problems with my brakes. I didn't have any problems when I left. Everything is still looking just hunky-dory. It didn't destroy any of my brake hoses. So far so good, but we're gonna keep an eye on it. So there you have it, folks. That is looking at some of the concerns that were expressed in the first few videos. Like I say, if you have more, there's other stuff you want to look at when we do our after winter checkup, and when we go up to have the salt eliminator spray, where they'll essentially use one of their products to get rid of the salt that's accumulated in the wintertime, wash it off, then of course reapply the Krown. If there's stuff that you want to look at that point, make sure you put it in the comment box below so I know to cover it. Just trying to cover some of the points off memory and show you what I do as an effort to prevent my truck from rotting out. That's the thing, they're expensive. I bought it used, it was still expensive. I want it to be here in 10 years, and you guys have seen that there's 10-year-old vehicles we have on our channel that are ready for the crusher in 12 years, 13 years, they're junk. I see trucks down at the dealership now that are $70,000, and to know that, you take this Chevy Suburban, 72 grand sitting on the lot, in 12 years, it's sitting at the junkyard. Doesn't make much sense to me. So, right or wrong, this is what I'm doing. This is the preventative measure I'm taking. Like I say, when I bring my truck in, I am spraying it with a little Krown. We do need to get some music, like the brake clean, so when we bust the stuff out, just hitting up stuff kind of at random, stuff where I know is low spots where, salt and junk is gonna sit, tops of control arms, any spot where it's just gonna accumulate. That's just what I do, part of my prevention plan. Anyhow, guys, that's it. Don't forget, look in the description box for the links. Like I say, right now, I know they got some free shipping going on. If you want to buy some, do it yourself, touch up what you have, let me know your thoughts, questions, comments, concerns down below. Find us on our socials. Find us on Patreon if you love what we do. If you love what we do and you want to support us, we do appreciate that. And we also appreciate each and every one of you. And just remember, viewers, if I can do it, you can do it. Thanks for watching.